What's up, guys? I'm Skilla and this is Nerd Stuff with Skilla, and today I'm going to talk about the 7th episode of Marvel's The Inhumans, called Havoc in the Hidden Land. In the second to last episode of this season, which I pray to whatever powers there may be, is the only season we get of this disastrous show. We start off with one of my favorite reoccurring motifs: people running around in the woods in the dark. So we have the baddies, they're running from the royal family, and the royal family heads them off and captures them. And there's a really crappily shot action sequence in this part of the episode. So, it's just choppy and in the dark and you can't see anything that's going on. So why do you shoot any action if you're not going to show any action? Medusa tries to talk Black Bolt out of killing Maximus. Black Bolt's not down with that. He lets Karnak go and snap Oron's neck in the slowest neck snapping you've ever seen. They could have just sped it up a little bit and it would have been just fine, but no! Oh, now she's dead. Peaceful. They agree to a parlay with Maximus. Parley, as they say in the show. Both of them are accurate, but I grew up on Pirates of the Caribbean and it's a parlay. First, they need to go pick up Triton, who's been alive this whole time and just living in the ocean. You remember that green guy who we saw for 20 seconds in the first episode? Yeah, you remember when you saw him swim away and you're like, oh, he's not dead. Oh, he's not dead. The audience is not surprised by this at all. At least I wasn't. Even if you remembered that Triton was a character, you're like, oh yeah, the dude who swam away. The only thing we saw him do was escape. Yeah, he escaped. Some of the characters have an emotional reaction to that. So it was a secret plan to hide away Triton until they really, really needed him. And Medusa's all kinds of butthurt about it. She's like, I need to be your partner and not just your interpreter. And that's my pointless argument thrown in the middle of an episode noise. They warp everybody to a secret bunker on Adeline, and they give Oron back to Maximus. So as Black Bolt's about to tell the group his plan, Medusa stops him, all mad about him keeping secrets, and makes sure that he tells her the plan. So then he goes on and tells her the plan like he was just doing just seconds ago. Like she would have already had. We could have pointless 3-minute little scene there that could have just not happened, and it wouldn't have hurt anybody's feelings, and it would have made the story flow better. But this show does not care about that at all. They just care about cramming as much mindless bullshit onto the screen as possible with poorly shot action and a really badly directed cast. That is what they care about. I think this might have all been a practical joke. Oron comes back to life. Maximus is sitting on the side of the bed and he's telling her kind of his motivations for what he's doing, and she's like, I supported you because you were a human who achieved great things, but now you just want to be an inhuman like me. And he's like, I see no problem with that. Now I've got to go convince the public that I have a heart. So he goes out and he makes this speech about Gorgon, and it's pointless. There's no real reason for him to do it. It gives us several minutes of Maximus talking in which they give him all of the words with R's next to L's, which clearly are the hardest thing for him to pronounce with an American accent. I can really tell that you're not American in this scene. Why did they make you change your accent? And maybe he just stopped giving a shit halfway through production. He was like, well, I'm just gonna half-ass the rest of this accent. Black Bolt and Maximus have their parlay in front of the same people who Maximus just gave his somewhat heartfelt speech about Gorgon in front of. Maximus agrees to give power back to Black Bolt, to give him the throne back in exchange for Terrigenesis. Since they have Dr. Declan, they're going to give him Dr. Declan and let him do what he wants to do. And he agrees to that. And then he's like, oh, I got Dr. Declan now. Never mind. Black Bolt tells Maximus, next time I see you, I'm gonna kill you. Max has set up Dr. Declan in this sterile IKEA apartment, and they're going to do the Terrigenesis again while they're discussing that Maximus is pulled aside by Oron, who's telling him that there's infrastructure failures going on. We're led to believe as part of Black Bolt's plan. We see Medusa discuss her first meeting of Black Bolt after his parents' death, and the whole scene is overlaid. It's a flashback of them as kids, and then you see the two of them interacting on top of that. It's all fuzzy and plopped on top of each other. It looks really bad, and it goes on for way too long. This show just wins the award of terrible editing. It would be a lot easier to watch if they had an editor who had ever edited anything. Black Bolt forbids Karnak from trying to put Gorgon's dead body through Terrigenesis a second time, telling him that it could make him crazy. So Karnak immediately is like, never, I'm not listening to you, Black Bolt, my king. I'm gonna go sneak through this entire castle into the twins' little pool room and beat up some guards and kick a freaking energy blast back at him because it can pierce through everything but the sole of a shoe, I guess. And he kicks it back at the guard, and he dies. And then he convinces Oron to swap sides because Gorgon grew up with her. And that's his reasoning and why she went along with it. Well, he pumps some Oron's blood into Gorgon, and they stand around for a minute until some people start to come into the place where they're Terrigenesising him. And they part ways, and they leave Gorgon's body sitting inside the Terrigenesis chamber. So Max is about to go through the Terrigenesis, and he's like, I imagined it being different because last time my family was here. Well, you didn't invite anybody, and you've sent all of your family away. Pointless conversation, pointless lines that don't make me feel any different about the character, and it's annoying. The surveillance system is down and some other infrastructure problems are happening. Before Max and Dr. Declan leave the Terrigenesis area, they see Gorgon's body inside one of the chambers, and he's like, what is going on in my kingdom? Pretty much the rest of the episode is Triton hopping around, slashing down these guards around Maximus without anybody stopping him or anything. And he leads Maximus down into Black Bolt's little Cave of Wonders. Black Bolt's standing there, and Maximus is like, I'm not scared at all. But he is. He looks scared in half of his scenes, except for when he really needs to be scared. That is how this show goes. All of the action with Triton, it looks like he is capable of performing action scenes. And then they chop it all the hell up, and then they glue it back together in an unreadable action sequence that could have been really sick, but it wasn't because the editor doesn't know what they're doing. Maybe the actor could only perform one move at a time, and then they had to put them together because he could only do one move at a time, but I find that hard to believe. I find it hard to believe. That is how this whole show goes, though. If you are trying to watch this because you want to see the Inhumans' abilities get used all the time, sorry, that's not going to happen for entire episodes at a time. If you want to give a shit about secondary characters, sorry, they're all gone. The only secondary character that we even hear about in this episode is Dave, the surfer dude with bitch vet ex-girlfriend. Crystal's not even affected by Gorgon's death in this episode. She only talks about being sad about Dave not being in her life. This guy she spent 2 days with, screwing on the beach. And that's what she cares about. That's an interesting character, isn't it? Such an interesting plot they've laid out for her. I'm so glad we spent 45 minutes of showtime on creating this relationship with this dude. It's everything that you don't want to see on screen from a superhero franchise. It's not believable. The characters are boring even though they shouldn't be. You're not seeing the characters actually use their ability. And we saw Karnak use his ability for the first time in forever, and he just makes one singular line go across the screen and then realizes he can just kick bullets. Just like he could karate chop the bullet earlier. Medusa's just annoying through this episode. She literally stopped Black Bolt from telling her the plan to tell him to tell her the plan, and then he tells her the plan. Did a toddler write that sequence? I don't get it. If they renew this show for a second season, I'm gonna burn my television. I will be furious with myself because I know I'm part of the problem because I watched all this garbage. Right, I've rambled long enough. Next week is the exciting conclusion to Marvel's The Inhumans on ABC, and I hope you tag along with me as I probably roast it some more because that is all I've done. I think I had the third episode, I think I said some nice things in that, but I think that is it. Because this show has just been a train wreck. I'm ready for it to be over, and maybe I'll find some other show to shit on afterwards. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to hear about more nerdy stuff from me. Drop a comment down below if you have anything to say about Inhumans. If you want to tell me I'm all wrong and just tell me all the great things in Inhumans, tell me down below. Or if you just want to shit on it with me, that's cool. Comment down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.